Yes, thank you, Shane, for having me. My name's Sterling for everyone. Nice to meet you all, and thanks for listening to my spiel here today. Just to go over real quick what is on today's agenda, we'll kind of go ahead and get started. As I'll start with a little background about Monsido, who we are, and what we do. Talk to you a little bit about the relationship we are building with ESC 10, and then ultimately actually reviewing our services, answering questions, and making sure everyone has a pretty high level understanding of what Monsido provides as a service provider. And so, first and foremost, just a little bit about our background as a company. I'm located in San Diego in California. We've been here in the US serving K-12 and higher education industries for the last 4.5 years or so. Prior to this, we were in Europe, Australia, and Asia Pacific regions. We do serve all levels of education, whether it be state departments of ed, county offices, or ISDs, as most of you are part of today, or other educational service centers. Us as a company, what we provide is a tool to help you make your website a bit better. We understand websites are a never-ending job, and a large job at that. And what our tool provides is an automated website scan that finds, prioritizes, and trains your staff on how to fix them. What we provide as a solution is what we call a web governance platform. So the idea behind our entire platform in general is that we consolidate all the web tools your web team would want under one roof. So with our weekly automated scans, we'll help you look for quality assurance issues like broken links and misspellings, accessibility errors. So if you're familiar, I'm sure we got a little background earlier today, we'll help you and your staff meet WCAG guidelines and requirements. We also help you and your staff maintain a consistent website. A really common challenge a lot of our districts have is, a resourcing challenge where they may have a few content editors that work on the website, or maybe they have a bit of a larger team. But ensuring everybody is following the same website policies is difficult from a managerial perspective. So admins can create website rules, make sure everybody that adds content is following the guidelines of the ISD or service center themselves. We also help with internal SEO. So a lot of folks think, oh, SEO just helps drive traffic to the site, which yes, it does. But what we specifically help with is the internal search on your website. So when your students or parents are trying to look for updates, whether they use Google or on your website in general, is your content labeled properly so they can easily find your latest COVID-19 updates or the lunch schedule or whatever it may be. We also help make sure your website's always running. So if your website crashes, we will notify your IT staff and let them know. And there's several other bells and whistles here that come included, but all kind of tie back into our dashboard view here to kind of give you more of a visual representation of how our platform works. So, and hopefully the most layman terms, we have a cloud-based tool, which means your staff doesn't have to install anything. We can scan as many websites, subdomains, or individual school sites as you would want. And you can run scans on them on a weekly basis or on an on-demand basis whenever you need. We also don't have any user restrictions. So no matter how small or large your team is, everyone could be added into the platform. They can be assigned to the specific content that they're responsible for. So after each scan's completed, or when your web team logs in, they're only receiving reports and seeing the information that's responsible, or that they're responsible for. Coming into a view of our dashboard, and I like to give a nice overview of everything here and what I presented on our website a few moments ago, because everything does come included in our base package. And so a lot of different departments get great use out of this tool, whether it's IT, communications, PR, if you have a marketing team, everyone can essentially customize their own dashboard to the feature set that they want to actually use. So whether it's just broken links, misspellings, or if it's the marketing team trying to get some site traffic information. Our statistics module here is a more user-friendly version to Google Analytics, if anyone's familiar with that service. And this is important to note, especially when it comes to the reporting and workflows in our platform, is because this helps prioritize all of your content. So whether web accessibility is on your immediate radar to become compliant and to meet the WCAG guidelines, you and your team can come into our summary page and get a really nice understanding of where to start and where to begin. So if WCAG or WCAG is new to you, this is the guidelines set from the Department of Justice, Office of Civil Rights, and also the Americans with Disabilities Act to ensure equal access to all site visitors with or without disabilities. And so under WCAG, there are a lot of different checks to look for. And what we will help you and your staff do is have a nice roadmap to success and really understand how and what to tackle. So when it does come to accessibility, first, we expect everybody to be as green as it comes. We do a lot of hand-holding. We have an intro to accessibility course you and all your web staff can sign up for. That is going to cover all the best practices, do's and don'ts, ways to avoid the most common issues from the get-go. From there, during the workflows and actually updating the site itself, we do also offer unlimited training and support for your teams as well. They have chat support with our internal dev team. They can give us a call, email, do have a knowledge base all full of tutorials and videos, which are available 24/7. But without a doubt, I would say one of the biggest value adds that we provide is our unlimited live webinar training. So whether your webmasters want to create group trainings for your staff, or if individual users want to select their own training session, they could come in here, customize a 30-minute or an hour session at their convenience. We'll do a screen share just as we're doing right now and guide your staff through the process. So no matter where they do struggle or where they stand, if they're new to websites, we also have realized, over the last several years, there's a lot of different types of users when it comes to school districts. There could be a librarian adding content once every 2 months, a teacher who adds content maybe every couple days, or the web team who's updating the site on a daily basis. So no matter their expertise level, we'll bring everybody up to speed to understand, how they can utilize our tool the best. From there, continuing on with the compliance services, we also provide an entire prioritized list of the entire website. And this is where the analytics comes in, I mentioned a few moments ago. As you can see here, we are going to help your staff prioritize pages based off web traffic. Naturally, pages that get more views than others will have a higher priority to them. So this calculates page views, whereas our internal priority also calculates time spent per page and clicks per page. So how in depth are your users actually using this page? Are they just viewing it, not really accessing a bunch of information and moving on? Or are they actually spending a lot of time on this page, going through different articles, which also can be toggled up or down? So when it comes to compliance, I call these the high-risk pages. If folks are familiar with what's going on in the accessibility world, if you don't meet certain guidelines with WCAG, to get into what's known as an OCR complaint. If you've heard of these already, a bit of a headache without a doubt. So our main goal as a provider is to mitigate that risk and take care of the high risk pages first. Just to talk to you a little bit about a workflow that your web staff would actually be able to utilize is a direct integration with the majority of web vendors out there. So I'm not sure if anyone here is directly working on the web team, but content management systems like WordPress, Drupal, whether you use School Messenger or Gabbard or Blackboard, they provide a content management system to help your web team manage the content. And we work with any and all vendors. We're not static to one or the other, but we do have integrations set up with a few that are our official partners. School Messenger, Gabbard, to name a few, WordPress, and a lot of those open source platforms. But really what that means for your team is that they will have a direct link into the platform they're already familiar with. And we have a browser extension that essentially brings everything from our dashboard here into a dynamic and functionable tool so they can actually find and highlight issues. So as you can see, I'm highlighting this image in the upper left-hand corner because it's missing what's known as an alt tag. In the accessibility world, what an alt tag is it describes what an image is to folks with vision impairments. Or maybe they weren't working on accessibility and they just want to fix a broken link. This takes the manual process out of trying to find the items that we're flagging. This works directly in the edit environment of their respective CMS. So now your team can find and fix things all in one screen. They don't have to jump back and forth between platforms, try to search the website themselves. This will be a nice and interactive way for them. A bit more information that this would provide is essentially our web analytics and structural information and pretty much everything that's just on our dashboard in general, just in a much more visual format. Last couple of things here I will mention in regards to accessibility, which I'm sure there's a lot of people's minds is, what level of accessibility do we need to meet in order to be compliant? What percentage do we provide a stamp of approval that basically certifies our website? And to answer this plain and simple, there is no direct percentage or direct level or criteria that says if you check X, Y, and Z, you are out of the woods for an OCR complaint. Really what the Office of Civil Rights wants to see is two primary things. One, that your web staff has gone through accessibility training, which we provide. And two, they want to see an active and ongoing effort. They understand websites aren't static. They're constantly being updated on a daily or weekly basis. So if you can show your progress towards this goal, it goes a long way. And so that's what our History Center was designed to do. As you run weekly, monthly, quarterly scans, we track all of your progress. Everything is time-stamped, and then it shows your percentage increase and then your decrease in total number of issues over time. When it does come to accessibility auditing, just to give everybody hopefully a little extra vote of confidence, Monsido is listed as an approved test and evaluation tool from the w3.org. They essentially created the WCAG or WCAG requirements. So just to give you a little bit of additional background there. And then if any other reporting is needed or an audit log, we do provide every ounce of progress in a detailed fashion. And then your staff can select reports to be scheduled to them on a weekly basis. So through our weekly automated scanning or your on-demand scans, you can detect issues that slip through the cracks or trigger on-demand scans as your team do make content updates. They can even fix them before they publish it or publish the new content to their live site. Coming back here to our dashboard, that is pretty much my spiel here today. So just to recap real quick, our tool is going to scan your website whenever you need us to. We're going to prioritize every issue that we found and prioritize every page that an issue was found on. From there, we're going to take your team directly to the location and then provide them as much training and support as they need to make sure they're able to accomplish their goals. But with that being said, I really appreciate everyone's time in hearing us out here today as a service and as hopefully an opportunity for you to learn something new here today. If anyone is interested in learning more about our services, please reach out to Shane directly. We would love to even provide a free scan of your website and overview with your web team. One of our main goals of us working together directly with ESCs is to serve their districts the easiest fashion possible. So either working directly with ESC is the easiest route for you. We do provide special discounted pricing for all of our partners, which ESC now is, and we really appreciate them bringing us aboard. We're really excited to start working more heavily amongst our districts and other ESCs. We do work with, I'd say, maybe around 45 different ISDs and educational organizations in the state of Texas already. Higher ed, UT at Austin, and then I mentioned a few ISDs earlier. But if anyone has any questions, definitely feel free to type them into the chat, or if you have something set up with Shane, I am more than happy to answer any questions. But aside from that, thank you again for the time, and I really hope to meet some of you here in the future and actually reviewing your personal site.
Sterling, I'm sorry, did you go over the heartbeat, what exactly that was?
Yes, sorry, I did mention it very briefly, but I didn't.
Okay. Can you show us some more about what that is?
Yeah, absolutely. So what a heartbeat is an uptime and response check. If your website crashes or is slow to respond, we'll send your IT team either a text message or an email letting them know. So your IT staff can set up their own parameters, maybe for your home landing page for the district itself. You always want to make sure that it's quick to respond and doesn't have a 5-second plus load speed. You can set up alerts and notifications, or maybe your web host, whether it's Blackboard, School Messenger, Civic Plus, or whoever it may be, Civic Live, may be down at a moment. We will ping you and let you know, hey, their server is down. Not sure if they notified you, but we'll also do that. So that essentially is what the heartbeat module is. Are there any other questions related to this feature?
There was a question.
Go ahead, Denise, sorry.
On Google Sites, or I know you mentioned CMSs. We actually use Mira CMS.
Yeah.
So I know it's not integrated. I don't know if that's something that they're working on, but would it also work on Google Sites as well?
It does, yes. We work on Mira, Google Sites, any CMS platform, even if it's a homegrown solution, we will be able to scan the content, no problem. All we're doing is scanning the forward-facing information. So we aren't scanning intranet, personal, private, or sensitive data. And so, yeah, any CMS platform you use won't be a problem. We just have certain partnerships and relationships with others for integrations. Mira is actually one I'm in the process. I lead our partner team, and that is actually a CMS we are in discussions with now. We're testing the compatibility of our extension here to function in their edit environment.
Great, thank you.
Of course.
So Sterling, can you just describe how this sits on people's CMSs? How does the process go where they integrate with Monsido? Can you just go over that process? And the reason, you still have plenty of time, and I know this is a little more of a complicated product than our others. So if you could just go over that process a little bit. So if they were interested, what would be the process and how would it look on top of their website?
Great question. So nothing is going to sit on top of your website. We are a cloud-based tool, so you don't need to install anything. We email you login information, and we are going to scan the public content whenever you want us to. There's no integrations or setup needed at this point at all. If you do use some of our partner CMS platforms, whether it's WordPress or School Messenger, Gabbert, or some of the other ones out there, the process, or actually I'll take a step back, the process in setting that integration up is as simple as coming here to your edit domain and selecting your specific CMS from our dropdown. So if you use WordPress, all we need to do is select WordPress and hit save. What it'll do from our platform and how it ties in is if your web staff is, let's say they're working on accessibility on this page. They've gone through the help center. They're ready to actually fix this issue. They can click open in CMS in the upper right-hand corner. It'll ask them to log in. Once they do so, it brings them into that same exact page in the edit environment. Now our extension will populate as well automatically, no additional setup or implementation needed. It's a standard Chrome extension you could download from the Chrome store. And now it will highlight in the edit environment so you can find and fix things in the same screen. Onboarding is a very simple process. It takes us about 3 to 6 hours to scan your website for the first scan. Once it's done, we email you your login. We set up onboarding whenever your team's available. They can access that through our calendar, as I showed you for the training purposes. Same exact concept. And then they're up and running at that point. I hope that answers the CMS questions, but anything else implementation or setup wise even that anyone has questions or concerns on?
So I have more. I
Okay.
am known as the person who has lots of questions. So Denise had asked, did you show page correct in the policies and explain that a little bit more? And if we still have time after that, you mentioned something about, if we found some accessibility, how you would train staff. If we have time to cover all of those, I think that would bring us right up to the edge, because this product is very complicated, and not complicated, but I mean, has a lot of parts and pieces.
It does have a lot of parts and pieces, you are right. And just to touch on that real quick, dependent on the user that your team is going to add into our account, the modules and dashboard are all customizable. So not every user is going to use all of these features. They could come in here and select the ones that they want access to, and then they could come down here and assign themselves to only the pages that they want to receive access to. So that helps streamline and condense the work. So if accessibility is their main goal, that will be the only thing visible on the dashboard. When it comes to training and support, first we have an intro course for accessibility. We also have just a standard Monsido overview training session where we go over everything at a high level. If SEO is something they want to focus on and that's one of their main goals, we will focus that training session just on search engine optimization. So that's all going to be the starting point. From there, once your team, maybe they're working through SEO or they're working through accessibility and they're getting hung up on some things. Maybe your webmaster notices that several of your web team is having similar challenges. Anyone could come and book an online training through our live calendar. Whether it's the webmaster setting up a group training for all of their staff or individual users, they could come here and just let us know what they're having trouble with. This is what I feel is the most beneficial portion of the training, is because it's all live. It's going to be with a direct support staff. You're going to be talking to them in person as we are now, and we're going to guide them through the process. Standard phone and email support, and then we also have chat. It's an in-app chat, and this is great for one-off questions and quick help. What does this mean? How do I access this report? Can you set this up for me? I don't know how to do it. We'll always say yes, and then help your staff whatever they need. So those are the few support and training options. I did not review Page Correct, so that is definitely a feature to note. This is an additional integration we can set up with your content management system. This does take a bit more of installation, and it has some JavaScript that your IT staff would need to install. It's pretty easy. If anyone's familiar with how to add Google Analytics script, it's the same exact process. A one-time copy and paste and you're good to go. What Page Correct does is it allows your team to fix issues on the fly. You don't even have to log in to Blackboard. You don't even have to log in to WordPress or whatever it is, or Mira. You can open up Page Correct here, copy and paste your working link, and it fixes it throughout your website. For example, if this link was present on 7 random pages, it's going to fix it all 7 places. If there is a misspelling, same exact concept. If there is an image missing an alt tag or different accessibility issues present, they can do the same thing. So it's a quick and global fix. And it also memorizes what you've used Page Correct for. So for example, I like to describe this as a safety net. If you use Page Correct on an alt tag on an image for compliance, maybe one of your staff accidentally forgot that alt tag in the future. They're really busy, they're updating several things at the same time. It slipped their mind, they forgot to do it. We will automatically deploy the alt tag for you, keeping your site in compliance. We'll alert that user that has that page assigned to them and let them know, hey, you forgot the alt tag, but we put it on there for you. But that's what this feature is designed to do. Make their lives easier. Don't even have to log into their CMS if they don't like, and it fixes things on the fly. So before I get into policies, I just want to make sure that's clear. Hopefully I explained that well, and if there's any more questions, I'm happy to answer.
That's really cool, Sterling. We do have another question that came up. So someone asked if you want to look at the consultant's Google sites or their web pages, would you use this tool or would you use Google Analytics? What would be easier? This tool would be easier than digging through Google Analytics?
I'm sorry, I kind of broke up at the start of the question. Are you asking our connectability with Google Sites?
I think they're interested in if we wanted to see the analytics of a Google site, I guess it would be easier to look at it here than using Google Analytics?
Oh, yes. Okay. So I'll let your staff be the judge, but that is what our goal of this module was. We have found over the years that a lot of our clients find it hard to navigate and understand Google Analytics. At times, it's just overload information. So our version, it's not meant to replace Google. They, without a doubt, go more in depth than we do, but a lot of it from a district level isn't necessary. And we've picked out the most important and most requested topics from our clients to make these reports more understandable and easier to export. So we do provide a lot of great visitor information. Where are they coming from? Language, devices, browsers, screen resolutions. But I would say for the content editing standpoint, the biggest use cases are how many views your pages and documents are being downloaded. I actually forgot to mention our PDF accessibility services, but we also provide PDF compliance monitoring and training the same exact way we do for a website, all in our accessibility module. But coming back here to statistics, from feedback I've had, it is much easier to navigate and comprehend.
Great, thank you very much.
It also runs perfectly alongside Google, does not interfere whatsoever. Majority of our clients use both at the same time.
So Sterling, just 2 quick questions and then we'll wrap up, and really appreciate your time. The pricing is based on number of pages for your website, correct?
Correct. And before we get into pricing, did we want to answer the question about the policies? I know someone.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no problem. I just wanted to get the features done, and then,
Okay.
yeah, we'll get into pricing in 1 minute. Yeah, policies. So this is a way for your webmaster, your IT director, whoever really runs the website, to create website rules to make sure all the content editors are following similar formatting requirements. You want to make sure all your dates are written with brackets, or phone numbers written with brackets or periods or dashes. Making sure images don't go over certain sizes, or also making sure certain language isn't present on the website. You might find this funny or not. I do like to mention this because I get a chuckle even saying this 100 times a month. Being a public organization, the word public is often added on websites without the word L. It's not a misspelling, but it's definitely not a word you want on an educational site. And so these are some examples of rules you can really just make sure accidentally don't slip through the cracks. Or another example, maybe Joe Schmo no longer works at the district. You need to scrub all of his contact information, but your web team has no idea every time he's mentioned on the site. So now they're required and search through every single page manually. It's a lot of wasted time. So now you can find any bit of information you want by creating your own policy, and we will show you the location just as we did a broken link. Hopefully that's also clear. I know this might be a new type of service, so any remaining questions with the policy module here? If not, I'll assume silence is golden, and we could get into pricing. So at the end of the day, we are going to price our services based on the number of total pages you want us to scan. So between all your subdomains and websites that you're affiliated with, you can squeeze in as many as you want. We don't care. We just have different tier levels. We have tier levels that start at 250 pages and could climb as large as you want. For example, our next tier goes up to 500. The next one is 2,500. The next one is 5,000. So if your main district site sits at, let's just say, 1,000 pages, you're already in our 2,500 page tier. So now you can squeeze in other affiliate websites, your other school districts, subdomains, or whatever it is. And it's all going to be on an annual basis. And our base price does include all of our modules here. So everything we reviewed, the training and support included. And just so you get some pricing ideas, our 250 page package starts at $2,500 a year. Our 5,000 page package is about $4,000 a year. That's all retail. And then through our relationship with ESC, we are providing additional discounts.
Yes, so that's the important part, is that going through Region 10, or if other ESCs set up relationships, there is a discount to our school districts on top of the educational discounts. So, and I appreciate your time very much, Sterling. It was a really good presentation.
Yes, thank you as well, Shane, for having us. Thank you, everyone, for sitting in and listening to my spiel today. As mentioned, if anyone does have further questions, please reach out to Shane. She could connect you and I for an individual scan and overview of your own site, and we can talk to you on a one-on-one basis. But thank you again. Have a wonderful rest of the week, everybody, and I look forward to meeting some of you in the future.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.